today we're going to talk about, a lot of small business owners are hearing they must adopt AI. Okay, so where should they actually start without wasting time or money? Now, I think this is a great topic, and I was speaking about this on a different podcast yesterday around the importance of how small businesses have a lot of tools that are being underutilized. And, if we look at, the ecosystem of a small business, they're going to have Microsoft, they're going to have Google, they're going to have other systems like a customer relation management system or, many charts, all sorts of tools where they have AI in their systems and they're not being utilized. So, where do you think then, with small businesses, where should they actually start without wasting time or money?
Well, I think before they jump to the tool, they actually have to look at what the problem they're trying to solve.
Yeah.
Because it's like...
Well, hang on, let's define problem.
Well, it could be as simple as, are they trying to minimize manual tasks, their repetitive manual tasks they're doing? Do they even know what those manual tasks are?
Yeah.
If they can identify what is the because then they know what feeds that manual task, what work that does in that task, and what's the expected output every time, so they can do that. That helps them build something that they can check to see if it's right. Because if they're trying to do something they don't know how to do, mm-hmm. then it's even more impossible because you don't know if the result is good or bad because you don't know what you're expecting. It's like that whole thing of we need a car to drive, right? Rather than
your car analogy again.
Yes. So rather than going out and getting, a truck, get a jalopy or something that doesn't cost anything.
Jalopy. I don't think jalopies are even available. You're talking about maybe getting like, a Hyundai instead of a, Dodge Ram.
So just get something inexpensive or something free, just so you can use for the next month and see how you use it. Because you might determine that you thought you needed a car, but you actually only need a car on Tuesdays. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a motorbike, and on the weekends you need a truck. Mm-hmm. Then that helps you determine what sort of tool you need. But the bottom line is you first have to identify the problems that you're trying to solve, like what are the things. And that's where you start aiming if you're looking at using AI.
I think also small businesses actually need to research what systems they currently have. Now, we did a podcast, not a podcast, oh my God, a workshop on, Google Gemini, for example. And so, and how Gemini can be used across your whole ecosystem. And the one thing, that I encourage any small business out there is that why don't you start looking at maximizing how you can use AI within your ecosystem, that one ecosystem. So for example, you've got Microsoft Copilot. Okay, what are the capabilities of Microsoft Copilot before you even venture out and then you've got another system? The one thing I find is that, small businesses have multiple. They've got ChatGPT, they're using Claude, some are now using Notion, and they've got, Copilot as well as Gemini. You've got all these AIs, and I guarantee you a lot of them aren't talking to each other.
10%
and they're probably using 10%.
So if you wanted an easy place to start and what's really powerful, and to be honest, until I started looking into it, I didn't realize how powerful it was either.
And we do apologize, everyone, for Jeremy. For whatever reason, Jeremy's decided to have an allergy attack. Yeah. And so he's going to be, sniffing and fidgety and everything else. So we do apologize.
Yeah. Google's NotebookLM is actually really powerful. The Gemini LM part, the notebook part of Gemini, where you can ask it to research things, it pull in that research, and then
within your ecosystem.
Within your ecosystem, ask it to research things. So if you're trying to learn on a topic or explain something to it, I saw this really cool little web thing. ask it, pull all the information on it, turn it into a podcast, right? So it turns it into a podcast, put it on your phone, right? And there's a feature where you can it's like a podcast and you're listening to it, and then you can ask the podcast questions. And it's like
about your business.
About the topic.
About the topic.
And it's like, hey, that's a really good question. And they'll talk to you like it's a podcast.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's a really cool way of helping you learn topics or learn stuff about your business. And then you can build that in as stuff for your onboarding for new client, like your new staff and that. So there's a lot of atmosphere. And this is stuff, if you're already paying for Gemini, you already have it.
Yeah. It's really interesting, because I know, Claude's got this new feature out, which is for small business. And I know they tackle, payroll and all sorts of things. And, I mean, I know you and I have yet to dive into that, which we will at some point. Because I know for myself, trying to find some kind of easy solution for small business, and when it comes to automations and AI and all of that, and to be honest, it's really challenging because every small business has different challenges. Every small business has different learning levels, adaptability, all sorts of challenges when it comes to AI. And so, the good thing I find, especially with your Google and your Microsoft, at least they have a learning center where you can learn about this stuff. But then most, not AI systems per se, but if you're utilizing a system like a CRM system, many chats, or, some kind of automation system that you need, Klaviyo, whatever, they often have really good learning centers or schools where you can learn how to utilize it. Even like we use ClickUp. ClickUp has AI, but ClickUp also has a learning school. And the good thing is also with a lot of these systems is that, especially if you subscribe to their newsletters, they have tips and tricks. Like, for example, we use Zapier, okay? I think every week I get an email from Zapier on a workshop they're hosting, and these are all free. The latest in what Zapier can do, whether it be APIs or
for those who don't
workflows.
know what Zapier does, Zapier is one of those middle software things. So if you're trying to link two systems together and there's no built-in link, Zapier is a good in-between that talks to one system and then converts it to talk to the other.
Yeah.
I've used it to do a lot of workarounds for our systems because we're not paying for full systems because it's expensive to find workarounds. So I've used that to talk to our forms, to talk to our...
But can I just say, just on that note, it may not be because we can't afford the full system. It could also, but it could also be at the moment that it may not have that API integration.
Yeah, it may not have that.
And I go back to that whole thing around, if you're using an ecosystem, try and utilize it for as much of the work that you can do, especially with AI, before you then go out and get another system that you're going to try and connect to it or see if it can connect, because then you're going outside your ecosystem, which means that data's got to come out of that ecosystem because the systems don't talk unless you are able or you're confident enough to implement something like Zapier to be able to do that.
And also, if you're in your ecosystem and you're trying to do something and it doesn't do it 100% the way you want to do it, but it can sort of accomplish 60%, start with the 60% because what you think you need and what you end up actually doing down the road completely different. So start with the 60% because you're going like, oh, this is really cool, but we really do it this way. The tool that you may have been looking at before may not have satisfied that. And there may not be a tool.
Yeah.
Like you just have to start, don't try to fit 100% because it never works. Just start utilizing what you have and it will start seeing how you want to run your business. And back to your question about finding tools.
Where should they start?
No, just small business problems.
Yeah.
I find small business problems, it's like Baskin Robbins. There's hundreds of flavors. Everyone's slightly different. There's like 14 chocolates. They're all chocolate, but there's something slightly different, and there's slight difference that these solutions don't just meet 100%. So you just have to start with what you have. We call it start with what you already is on your desk. And because fundamentally what you think you need and what you actually will need are going to be miles apart.
Yeah. So I guess let's just recap then. What should they actually start without wasting time or money? I think first and foremost, start with the systems you have before you go out of your
If you're in
ecosystem.
Google, use Gemini. If you're using Microsoft Copilot, like look what you already have with the AI that you're already paying for.
Yeah.
And then utilize, and then simply ask it, this is what we want to do in your system. How do we do it?
Yeah.
And it says, yeah, we can do this or we can't do that. Get an audit of what you want to try to do. Within it.
And then I guess number 2 is that, okay, once you've worked out what your system can do, and again, your system amongst all your systems. So if you have to use a CRM or a different CRM, again, look at what the AI is integrated into that system for and what it could do. It could be quite in depth, it could be just very basic, but whatever it is, work out how to utilize it. And then number 3, go outside your system when your system can't do some of the things that you do need. So for example, we have an outside CRM, but we want to do automations of, it could be how people engage with us. That isn't necessarily a Google or a Microsoft thing, but we're utilizing, but it's a CRM thing. So there's our 3 tips that you should definitely have a look at. And
if you have questions, just reach out to us.
Yeah, reach out. We either reach out, put a comment,
There are no dumb questions. I may have dumb answers, but there are no dumb questions.
He definitely will have dumb answers, okay. But thanks for joining us today.